Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the No Holds Barred Wrestling Show, and welcome back to Hall of Fame. I'm going to say it, Hall of Fame referee Jimmy Kordras. Some week ago today, the mortal, I'm going to say mortal, Hulk Hogan passed away. Jimmy was there. Jimmy has great stories there. But first of all, when you heard the news last Thursday morning, tell me what you went like. We're hearing conflicting reports. He's doing okay, Jimmy Hart. He's doing Eric Bischoff. He's doing okay. He's coming back. And 2 weeks ago he's hyping up another wrestling league with Kurt Angle there and his beer and everything. And then everything goes awry there. So give me your thoughts first of all when you heard the news.
Like everybody else, I was in shock. I almost didn't believe it at first. I was like, I thought it was. I hate to put it this way. I thought it was a bad joke.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When I found out it was true from some friends, I just uh, nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. I think even those that were saying, guys like Jimmy and guys like Eric, who were saying, no, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. He probably was in their eyes. He
yeah,
probably was looking all right because what people forget about the heart is a complicated organ,
yeah,
and you everything could seem fine, and then just in a blink of an eye, something can happen, and that's what it seems to be here because he had gone through a surgery on his neck, and apparently there were issues there. But I don't recall him ever having a history of heart issues, unless that's
yeah,
something that I wasn't aware of, but I don't recall ever hearing anything like that. So, unfortunately, like I said, the heart is a complicated organ and can only take so much. And after all the years of him putting that strain on his heart, I guess it just gave out. And
yeah.
again, it's as someone who was not only a colleague, a friend, it's always hard to take. And when it's somebody like him who people use the term legend and icon very loosely
Yeah.
when we talk about some of our fallen heroes. Uh, every word of that applies to Hulk Hogan.
And let's face it, he's been everybody railroaded him all this and that and the sex tape and all. Let the guy rest in peace. Like seriously, let the guy rest in. And if it wasn't for Hogan, there will be no Rock. There will be no Stone Cold Steve Austin. There will be nothing like that. So come on, he changed the business as we know it. Kudos to him. And ironically, I think you heard this. Vince McMahon on the same day was involved in a big time accident. So that's the same day and maybe even the same hour or whatever. But that's again. Now give me Jimmy. With Jimmy Corderas here, famous referee here. Give me two or three thoughts that everybody has a memory of Hogan. We all. You're a little bit older, but we all grew up with Hogan and all that. But you were there. You're with Hogan. You're refereeing and everything. You probably have a unique memory.
Yeah, I have a lot of them because I've talked to Donnie about this on our show where I remember the first time meeting Hogan, where Jack Tunney sent me up to the hotel to go pick him up and bring him down to Maple Leaf Gardens, and when I picked him up, uh, I was like, I didn't know how to address him. Do I call him Mr. Hogan? Do I call him Mr. Hulk? I didn't know, and I just went up to and introduced myself. I said, "My name is Jimmy Corderas. Jack Tunney sent me up here to pick you up and bring you down to Maple Leaf Gardens." He says, "All right, brother, let's go." Like he was like real cool from the get go. And then on the ride down, he was talking to me, having a conversation with me, but it wasn't about wrestling. It was just
Life.
yeah, he's talking to me and asking me questions about myself and so you're from Toronto and all this stuff. And we get down to the gardens and I drop him off and I walk him into the building and I said, all right, if you're all set. And he says, all right, brother, thanks for the ride. If you need anything, you come to me.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I went, wow, that really hit me. And getting to referee some of his matches as well, I thought was really, really special because man, like here I am. I've been refereeing less than a year, and I'm in the ring with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And then fast forward several years later, the last match of his that I got to referee was him as Mr. America versus Roddy Piper in at Judgment Day 2003. And right before we were going out for the match, he looked at me. He says, "The only thing missing, brother, is that ramp," which was referring to Maple Leaf Gardens, which had the iconic ramp that went from the dressing room to the ring. And when he said that, him, Piper, and I looked at each other and go, "Never be like it again."
Yeah. And let's give this guy credit. Not only did he change the wrestling landscape, as we know it in 1985 WrestleMania 1, but how often does a wrestler change it twice in 1996 with the NWO, right? So like,
Absolutely.
and nobody's really talking about it. Of course, did they have better wrestlers than him? Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna say Hogan is the greatest wrestler, but the guy who made the most money, the guy who your kids, and now your kids are gonna know the name Hulk Hogan, and he changed everything in professional wrestling or sports entertainment there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no matter what, let the guy, like I said, rest in peace.
Yeah,
Okay.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Joe. Everybody jumping on this bash bandwagon, and I can understand people being upset over some of the things that were said and that sort of thing. And I'm not excusing him. I'm not saying it was right, because obviously the words that were spoken that he was caught saying are will offend a lot of people, and if not everybody. And I get that. But we've all said stuff that offends people. We've all said stuff. Everyone is flawed. No one in this world is perfect. And I'm not going to preach here for everybody to forgive and forget. All I'm saying is, if you can't forgive him for his indiscretions in his life, then don't say anything at all. You don't have to bash the man on the day of his passing, when his family is grieving. His family and his friends are grieving. You can be tactful in your, if you don't like the person Terry Bollea. You know what I mean? If you haven't got anything good to say, you don't have to say anything at all. We're not. Everybody's so quick to jump and say anything negative about something, anything. I'd rather, it's different to critique something, like critique a television show or critique wrestling like we do here when I think it's warranted. But this is real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different ball game. And I think when you're talking about his legacy in wrestling, it can't be denied. Here's a guy who transcended 3 decades of the business, had 3 of the biggest moments in 3 consecutive decades: slamming Andre in the Silverdome, the turn at Bash at the Beach where you dropped the leg on Macho Man, and him and Rock at WrestleMania 18. The 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Tell me another wrestler who's done that.
Nobody. And he's loved by everybody. Sports, entertainment. Donald Trump. He was there last in the Republican convention. So everything. Now, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when the funeral is or whatever, but if they invited you, would you go down?
Absolutely.
And have you heard anything about it, or?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. I have not.
Okay. So that's again, it's paying the respects. And let's face it, if there was no Hogan, we wouldn't be where wrestling is today. Okay.
And Joe, you and I wouldn't be here talking right now. I mean, don't get me wrong.
At a Becker's or something. So.
Oh yeah, we'd be hanging out, but we wouldn't be on here on this platform talking about it. But and the other misconception, we're not saying that wrestling would not exist. Wrestling would still be around, but it would be nowhere near, not even close to what it is today.
Again, as we close it out here, give me one final thought that not a lot of people have heard, because you had conversation, like you just said, you had conversation upon conversations upon, and this guy, there was a time when Hogan was you know, everybody knew him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, he was bigger than Trump, put it that way. Okay.
Yep.
What was a favorite saying, or what to this day did you take from what he said to you?
Oh, the biggest thing he said to me is, trying to think exactly. I can't put it in the exact words, but basically he was saying, he would always say to me, never be afraid to speak up. Never be afraid but just be mindful on how you do it. He says it's different if you're it's different if you're high up on the card, you know, some when that ego takes over a little bit and you can kind of voice yourself a little more. But he says, don't be afraid to speak your truth.
So I'm going to tell you a little story here. August 28th, 1986. Do you remember that day?
August 1986. That sounds like CNE Stadium show.
Exactly. Were you there?
Yes, I was there. I wasn't refereeing yet at the time, but I was there.
So I was there. I was 12 years old, and at the back of Exhibition Stadium,
Mm-hmm.
where they were coming in and all that, there was a limousine, and then there was a tall guy with like a cowboy hat and everything, and it was Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there with my cousin and all that. And he's like, "Bring that little kid. Come here, come here." And he gave my cousin, which I was mad at the time,
Right.
his bandana signed and everything. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm going to keep the belt." He didn't say he's going to win.
Right.
I'm going to, because we're 12 years old. Like, oh, are you going to win? Are you going to do this? Or
Right.
12 years. And what happened? He won disqualification, right?
Right.
But I could always remember he's always and I was 12, he was 10. So we were always, and
Mm-hmm.
I was with my uncle and all that. We were always fans, and we were always, looking, oh my God, it's Hogan. I remember to that day, 40 years later, 30 years later, that, he just took the time. There were millions of people there. He
Right.
saw us too, right? Come here. He gave him, he told me, next time I'll see you, just come here, talk to secretary or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll get you something. But he gave him a signed bandana and everything like that. That was one of the memories that I have for the longest time there. So Hogan, rest in peace there.
Mm-hmm.
A great, great, and forget about, to you, he was great. To other people, he was great. Sure, he has his drama like everybody, like he said.
Right.
But again, let the guy rest. His family, he has his son, his daughter, haven't talked to him, have talked to him, and all this. Just
Mm-hmm.
let him in peace. Now the only wish for him is, because you never heard of a person 25 surgeries on the leg, surgery on the back, surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Let him rest. Now it's his time to rest.
Right.
That's it.
Agreed.
So, and hopefully, WWE, I don't know if they're going to do that, but hopefully it's SummerSlam. Maybe they do a special shout out to Hogan. SummerSlam, it's in New York, so maybe they do it, maybe not. But at least the WWE with Triple H, he went out of his way, put it this way, for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, to honor Hogan.
Absolutely.
So unlike some other organization, we won't talk about that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's it. By the way, Jimmy, tell everybody where they can see you, hear you, and how to get a hold of you on social media.
Well, you can hear me here with you every
Yeah.
so often. We jump on here. We love chatting with Joe here on the Fired Up Network. You can catch it, Donnie and I, on Huge Pop Radio, of course, which you can access here as well on the Fired Up Network. We have great guests every week. I think we had Jacques Rougeau this week talking about Hulk Hogan, speaking of which.
Yeah, very good friend of his.
Yes, very good friends. So Jacques was gracious enough to join us this week and speak about his friendship with Hulk. And of course, on all my social media platforms, at Jimmy Kordras on Twitter, at Real Jimmy Kordras on Instagram, doing my little ref and rants, from Monday to Friday, about a minute and a half long, little critiques here and there, screws that I think need tightening, and just having fun, man. Just having fun, loving wrestling.
And Jimmy and Donnie will be back here to preview SummerSlam. Thank you, Jimmy.
No problem, Joe.